Hello, George.
Yeah.
It's Steve. How are you doing?
Hey, Steve. Much better, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. How is it up in Nova Scotia?
Oh, it's pretty good. And yourself? Over in Cali, is it nice there?
It's better. It's pretty calm. I'm just kind of resting up. I've had a very strenuous last 3 weeks, and this is a little bit of break. Eric is apparently. I called the lab today. The guy that I spoke to yesterday, who was not terribly cooperative, wasn't there, and but somebody else somebody who's known Eric for some time, like I have, was there. It was very rational, and when he sees him, he's going to talk to him. So.
Oh, that's good.
I think that's a positive sign. I confirmed an address I can mail things to Eric at. So.
Oh, you did? Okay, I heard there was something like that going down. That's good. That's good. There.
So I'll be able to. I'm going to talk with. I wanted to talk to Eric before I talked to a consultant.
Yeah.
About the final wording, because I wanted his input and I don't have it, but I'm just going to have to submit something anyway.
Well, okay. Well, I think the guys that are involved with all that, those organizations that are asking for this stuff, I've done a lot of looking into them, and I think they're trustworthy because they have a lot of solid information, and the demonstrations, like, they actually have the technology running. So, whereas a lot of other, like, alternative energy companies seem to just make promises and never actually display any technology, you know? And they have a lot of like different inventors working, not just Tesla. There's also Victor Schorberg's work is being done. There's a bunch of names I'm not familiar with as well that I have to even look into. So
what organization are you talking about? Are you talking about the conference in Chicago or in Illinois? Are you talking about ericdollard.com or what?
Well, I guess Eric Dollard's fan page on Facebook is the closest thing to an organization I could say I'm talking about. But there's a large group of people that filter in through and out through there. There's a wide range of community people connected to that and to other Tesla sites that are all getting interconnected now.
I don't feel like, that sounds good, but that's not tech company, and I don't feel like I can trust them. So I want to.
Oh no! I'm not even talking about that guy. I've never interacted with him. So,
yeah.
Like, do you know? Go to the YouTube channel like Real Verbs 1 and Real Verbs 2.
VERB.
VERBZ, I think is what it is.
VER. B as in boy. ER. B as in boy. Z.
V as in victory.
Oh, verbs. B as in Victor, ER, B as in boy, Z?
Yeah, that's it.
Real verbs. Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah, that guy, he's got a lot of really solid information, and he shows a lot of... He's working with Cyril and stuff like that.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate the tip.
No worries.
Anyway, I feel a lot better now, and I reached a real rational human being. This is a guy who's been in the desert like Eric has, so...
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah. The further outside of a city you go, the more solid of a mind you'll find.
Yeah.
So, the cities are full of crazy folks. It's all the weird stuff flying around in the air and all that, so...
Well, I was talking, we were talking about, Eric talked about the psycho-mind virus, and he's talked about it for years. And he said, a lot of these kids these days, they're multitasking. And they're on their cell phones while they're in a classroom, while they're texting, while they're on the internet.
So their attention's too divided.
Because when you're too divided like that, people end up just taking in whatever's coming in without critical thinking.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware of that. I run through a bunch of the New Age groups a while back, just exploring those cultures. And there's a lot of weird propaganda going on in the New Age movement.
Well, I'm for spirituality.
Oh yeah, so am I. I've broken through to the other side and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you want it grounded in science.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm finding with Eric's work is I started watching some of his lectures last night, and the things he was stating lined up perfectly with a whole whack of mystic experiences I've had.
Oh, good for you.
So it's.
Well, anyway, I'm really confident. I feel much better that. Finally, I got past the gatekeepers. Something rational.
Well, do you have Skype or anything like that?
What?
Do you have Skype or anything like that?
No, that's fine. I don't use it a whole lot, but I have it, yeah.
Okay. Can I get your address or anything?
Well, I'm just George boy, you know, but don't give it out, please. You know, I mean, I've had enough trouble. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, but that's yeah. We can. Oh, wait a minute. Do you have cell phone issues with cost? Is that a problem with cost?
Oh, I'm just doing long distance right now on my landline. But I don't make a lot of long distance calls, so it'll only be like 30 or 40 cents.
Okay. Well, yeah, then I don't want you to maybe Skype me. I'll tell you what. We can probably work that out. Also, you've got my email address, right?
No, I haven't got that.
Okay, so we can do that, Steve.
Okay. SS? Okay.
At hotmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Alright, I'll be in touch with you then, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and get something out this week to Eric in the mail, and then I've got to talk to a couple of people first. I'm hoping he'll call me in a day or so, but if that doesn't happen, we'll get something out to him.
Okay.
We'll make sure it's all protected, and when it gets out there, I want something out there before the...
And you're mostly just worried about, what was it, misrepresentation, was it? If you uploaded these videos without written permission?
I'm worried about several things involved. People say they're representing Eric at a later date, saying we own this in his name and you didn't have any right to put it up there. Even though they're saying, well, there's videos with him saying that he wants it up there. Well, that could, I mean, there's all sorts of things that could happen. Well, he was under duress when he said that, and we have the right for it, and here's whatever, and forged signatures. I don't want to go there. I want something directly from Eric. And also, you know, the only thing I ever had from him, directly from him, was I could sell one of his lectures. But I want, you know,
you could sell it.
I think he really wants it on the internet for everyone free, and I want to just confirm that and have that in writing from him, and then we'll put it up, and we'll put it up in a way it'll stay up there forever, which is what all I want, without anybody else being able to come in Eric's name at a later date under some other auspices and say take it down, or even worse, how dare you put that up? We're suing you.
Oh, I don't think they could sue you over that. So, but maybe, I don't know. I'm not a legal expert,
well, I mean, yeah, there's ways they can do it. Are they legal? Are they fraudulent in form? They're potentially fraud. But I've already had attempted blackmail and fraud committed.
Okay, yeah.
Or if it hadn't happened, I would not be taking this stance.
Oh, okay. And I was just wondering, how did you come into possession of the tapes?
I recorded them.
Oh, okay. So you're the original filmer then?
Here's what happened. Eric was in the desert. I'd heard about him, you know, because, I mean, in 1999, Sally Thompson was the president of the Tesla Society.
Okay.
And she said, I have to leave the state. You're the only one I trust to take this on. And I said, well, I've got a lot on my plate, Shelley. And she says, well, if you don't do it, there won't be a Tesla Society. And I said, I can't let that happen. I'll do it. So I became the president. It was a lot to take on, and, you know, it's all volunteer, but we've had 7 to 9 meetings per year of speakers like Eric, and that's a lot of volunteer work right there. Then we took on the issues, and, you know, when we hit 2005 or 6, I'd seen so many instances of people like Tesla and Farnsworth, his electronic fusion, and Royal Rife with, you know, electronic treatment of disease, and Eugene Maloff and his work with cold fusion, and so, you know, Stanley Meyer and the water engine, and all these people harassed and suppressed, and I said, what is it that these guys never had? And they never had a grassroots trying to back them up.
Oh, that's what this the Eric fan page is about. The Eric Dollard fan page. They have a what's it called? Crowdsourcing page where people make donations.
Okay.
So they've got a lot of organization into this. Their websites are very clean and professional too. Like the designs on them
Yeah.
They have some very talented people working on this movement. So
I haven't been.
I'm just a wild card, and I have nothing to do with it personally. I just showed up. What?
That's cool. What we did was we picked one inventor. This was before Eric was in the desert. I'd heard about him for years. I didn't know him at that time, but there was one that we had known, which I did get in touch with, called Paul Pantone, and we found out about him in Utah when we were at a Tesla conference, and I saw about 7 or 8 people who had this technology, his heat reactor, on their cars, and they were getting phenomenal mileage. And this guy had apparently been railroaded. He'd been framed for securities fraud by vulture investors who wanted to get control of his patent. And then he was railroaded into a state mental institution when he wouldn't give up control.
Okay.
And he sat there for 3 years while we worked very hard to get him out. And we were infiltrated. We found out who had infiltrated us at every step of the game. We worked around it. Enormous legal maneuvering to keep the guy alive, because they were trying to kill him through medication that ultimately he was allergic to, and that, he had received hepatitis C while he was in there from unclean conditions.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough state.
They wanted to give him a psychotropic drug that would kind of wiped out a good portion of his mind, but at the same time, even the literature says you do not give it to a person with liver problems, like he had from the, hepatitis C causes liver trouble, or it can kill them. And the court tried to do it anyway, and we had to go appeal it, and we were successful. But the courts in Utah are corrupt, and it was an enormous amount of hours. Finally, we found a state senator who wanted to go after corrupt judges, and he did, and he and his staff, with our data, launched an inquiry into corruption into the Utah State Attorney General's office, and within 2 weeks, Paul was free. And by this time, I had met Eric, and Eric's, I met him in 2007. We started working on Pantone's case in 2006, so I was committed. Eric thought, this is a lost cause. You'll never get him out. Don't even bother. Spend your time on Landers. And I said, I can't. I'm already committed to this. I got a team of 115 activists. We got to follow through, and whatever happens, happens. So I am now, we got Paul out, but I'm persona non grata in Utah. If I were to go to Utah today, I might, find somebody putting strange white powder in my pants, and then having me arrested, So
that's true enough.
I can't go back here, but that's all right. We got him out, and we tried since to recruit Paul. He's not really doing great, but he's free to support Eric, because that was one of the things. No matter while you're free, here's Eric. He's suffering. He needs help in Landers.
Yeah, I seen on his page he was offering up the courses on how to rig up his gear system or whatever. That the engine he has.
He does teach it, and he offers dealerships, and it's kind of expensive, and I wish it weren't sometimes. But man, I try to respect the inventors and what they want, and if he wants to do it that way, then okay, he's the inventor. I got to respect that. So, and it's the same with Eric. From 2007 through 10, we made 3 trips down to Landers. I brought scientists down there to see what he was doing, to add credibility to the project and so forth, with some documentation, and all this in the midst of my not even having a working editing system to edit any video for anybody. So by the time we got that fixed, there's another scientist we've worked with, Roy Kaler, worked diligently to try and save his land. He's the inventor of the switching power supply that saves the planet something like 5% of its electricity. His power supply is on board the Voyager spacecraft that left the solar system. He designed hybrid vehicles since the 1960s, and a vehicle that he designed, it got 110 miles per gallon, with a 2-seater, would outrun a Corvette, was the one that he sold to Toyota and was redesigned into the Prius. So he's been working on a lot of technologies. He was hounded by the FBI for 20 years. after GM found out what he was doing. And these days he's had this, you know, the last few years he's had the county of Santa Cruz trying to take away his 150 acres where he does his research, you know, and he has pristine redwoods up in the near Big Basin Park. So we spent hundreds of hours trying to save him and his land in 2012. So that's another reason why Eric's stuff didn't get edited. Nobody did, because I put that as a higher priority with our limited resources. And I had hoped that we'd save the land. You know, Eric could go there after he'd lost landers. He could be there, hang out with Roy, which would have been good for him. So Eric has a better situation, I think, with the lab. That's a better situation. He's got people who are trying to support him. He's got, you know, crowdsourcing and grassroots to the level that has been beyond my capabilities. I think it's fantastic, actually. So.
Well, this crowd here is like very, very adamant about getting this technology out. I think what's happened is the, as you were calling him, the infiltrator has added a layer of suspicion to the community. So it has become more difficult for a clean channel of communication between you and these other fellows.
Well, they absolutely would not let me talk to him.
And why do you think that? Or why do you think they weren't talking to you?
Well, I mean, David Webster said a couple of times he kind of like hold out the carrot and then slam down the fist. You know, I mean, I had reached an agreement when they had. I'm a broadcast production person. I was something that I like to do more than edited videos. And to hand it over to somebody else wasn't something that really, you know, after working so hard, spending many hours to set up the lectures, help them to get up to give them, make sure that he got paid and got fed to give them. I mean, I didn't have to do any of that. I did it because Eric is important, and we love him, and we care about his work, and we sacrifice our time and our energy because...
Oh, these guys are definitely doing that. They're posting like 30 to 50 links sort of thing for a video with all backup information. It's crazy. But,
I mean, to be called a suppressor after all, that was the worst. Is like, you know, shoving an arrow in your heart. So, I mean, it's not true. There were reasons why that happened. We're trying to bring it forth. But I'm just, because there's been blackmail, fraud, and extortion attempts, well, maybe not extortion, but blackmail and fraud in this. For, I think Texnomy wanted all the stuff before I had copyright. He wanted all the raw footage to be copyrighted. He has total control. And
I think once you've produced something, it's automatically sort of, it's not legally copyrighted, but it's like once you produce something and you can prove that you put it out before somebody else, you own the rights to it. And with where it's you shot the video, you own that video and can put it up as you want. I see people do it all the time with stuff.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like bands and stuff like that. You'll see people take footage from concerts and upload it to YouTube, and it's the same idea. Because like they own the footage. Sometimes they're not allowed to even do that because you're not allowed to take cameras into those shows.
Right, and the band can actually, you know, go to Google and they take it down.
Oh yeah, but they rarely do because it's just like, why bother? But I think if you just upload it straight up, you'd be safe. And then the other option, obviously, is like you could mail it to these guys, and I think you can trust them. Because I've been talking to a few of them, not the Eric Dollard crowd specifically, but the outer rims of the Tesla crowd that lead to the Eric Dollard crowd. And they're solid folks.
I don't know who to trust.
Oh, that's why you got to know them. Trust is like, what is it? The Assassin's Guild says, the path to the door of a new friend is only one step. The path outside yourself is also only one step.
Anyway, I mean, I need, hang on just a sec.
Sure thing.
I have to finish up in a couple of minutes. Steve, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be talking to somebody legal in a day or two. I need one more opinion on this. I want to, if there's a way I can release it safely without having to go through any more, I'm going to do it. But, I mean, I think the safest way is to get Eric's signature.
Okay. I don't think he wants to say all that stuff again. He's been through the ringer, so...
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. That's what I've gathered from, like, reading about everything in the last 24 hours, I guess, since I called you or so. I had to do some catching up on all this information.
So what is it? Your final recommendation is what?
I think these people doing the crowdsourcing project are legitimate and they are connected to Eric. I have people here that are saying they can get his address for you. They're working on getting the address for you, but you're saying that you already got that address?
It looks like I've got it now, so we're good.
You have got it now, yeah?
Yeah, it's in loan fine, so we're good. I've confirmed that he'll pick it up, so I think we're good with that. I'm going to be talking to somebody in a couple of days, and I have to spend a couple hours writing this up for them.
Okay.
And if their opinion, and then it's the best way to proceed, and then we're going to try and get something in the mail this week.
Okay.
Do work on editing this week. I finally got some time. I don't want this information getting out there because it could. You never know who's going to try and sabotage it. But my plan is...
but wouldn't not releasing the information sabotage it even worse?
Well, I mean, here's what can happen. If somebody is trying to stop this...
Well, it's already stopped because it hasn't started.
They might try and introduce other obstructions in my life to stop me from being able to complete it.
Do you want to really be remembered as history's guy that stopped Tesla's technology because he was scared?
I'm not stopping its technology because I'm scared. I'm making sure that when it gets out there, it stays out there.
Oh, it will. Once it hits the internet, it's on the internet.
And that somebody doesn't, on a pretext, try and use the fact, I'm trying to make sure that the way we release it is safe, so that somebody doesn't try to in Eric's name, anonymously, I have a document here forged, whatever, say that you weren't supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to put it out there, so we're going to sue you and the Tesla Society and shut you and the 100 other scientists. You're trying to do all the stuff you're trying to do for all of these other scientists in addition to Eric down. Or control it. There's people definitely out there.
Why would you think Eric would want to shut down his own information like that?
Eric would not.
Okay, so then it's no problem, because if it's a forged legal letter, then it has no value.
I don't want to have to spend thousands of dollars I don't have trying to prove that in court.
Prove that you shot the video?
It's not a matter of I won't win in court. It's a matter of, Royal Rife won in court against a case, thousands and thousands of dollars brought by AMA in the background to destroy your company. He won in court, but they killed him financially.
No, finances are nothing. It's just money.
I'm trying to prevent any kind of frivolous action based on fraud, since fraud has frivolous fraud.
If you want to talk about fraud, you need to be careful about Charles Ostman. That's a fraud. That guy's a snake oil salesman.
Charles Ostman, so much misinformation.
No, man, I looked at his website, and he's with this future company connected to the Fortune 500 companies. If you're worried about bankers getting a hold of this, that guy's the guy that's going to be the banker that's going to get a hold of it.
Which company are you talking about?
What was it? It was like Global Future.
Institute for Global Futures.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, he hasn't been associated with that for 3 to 5 years.
Oh, his website says he's on the board or he's a fellow there.
No, he might be a fellow, but he doesn't get any money. He doesn't get any support from them anymore.
Okay. I think it's pretty sketchy he's even connected to something like that. But the New Age is dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. It's full of fairy tales.
I don't know.
No, look, I found a lot of crazy things in my life, and you can find them too. It's all within inside of us. And the New Age is a huge distraction from that, because if we found the truth out, nobody would go to work anymore.
Well, I don't know. I'm dedicating my life to helping people, and if that's work,
That's good. Me too.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing I think about is basically the solutions to. We're in a society that's designed to break down. We're in a society that is designed to waste to make money, and we're all going to die. So a few people, probably from Israel, can make a bunch of money.
Well,
like Monsanto and Pfizer, they're all owned by the same people.
We're very familiar with that, and we I was up there with several other people in July at the gates of Bohemian Grove protesting it.
Okay.
That's the source of the problem. That's the source of the problem that affects our economy, our banking, and all the inventors. It's right there.
Possibly. I can't really say. I've never been there myself, but
I'm up on it, and I'll just say that, and I'm glad to meet a kindred spirit along those regards. But with Charles is, I don't agree with everything he says, but I will tell you this: he's honest. He's sacrificed, many 50, 100 hours of his time, just in trying to help Eric understand what he's saying. Even, he's donated. He's scrounged through yards of old, equipment that's been left behind from the lab. He picked up a chart recorder. He and I picked up a chart recorder and donated it to the lab recently in Nevada. If it hadn't been for Charles, that wouldn't happen.
To Eric's lab.
Whatever you want to say about Charles, he has been horribly misrepresentative. Yeah, okay, he believes in quantum theory. So,
I don't think quantum theory is a new age thing. I don't really know anything about that stuff either. But I do know the new age it's crazy. It's part of that. Remember you were saying to disengage the critical thinking? That's what the new age is, because when you negative think, you're being critical. They think negative thinking or critical thinking is negative thinking, and then you have to avoid negative thinking or else you create a negative reality. But the truth is, when you look at things objectively and see the negative, you can turn it into a positive. And if you ignore the negative, then it's just going to continue growing into a larger negative.
That's true. And you think Charles is doing that?
I think he's part of the New Age movement, which is a generalized thing. Like they are all trying to. The truth is, we're in a living reality. It's just like everybody, all these people are saying the fluids of the fluidic reality we're in, the aether. The whole thing's conscious, and you can connect to it and talk to it. I do it all the time. It's how I find my food usually. I found the house I'm in right now because of that. All sorts of stuff. But it's not a vending machine. It's not like some kind of prize dispensing machine.
Right.
Like, when I go out in the woods, I'm cleaning up the woods, and then the universe smiles upon me for that sort of thing.
Well, there you go.
But that's all it comes down to, though, is there's no dissolving the ego. Like, the ego is your sense of self. If you don't have a sense of self, anyone can tell you who you are, and then they can control you.
That's true, but too much of a self leads to arrogance, and that's the problem as well.
What's that?
Too much of self can lead to arrogance that, I'm the center of the world.
Oh, that's the false ego. That's the false ego, thinking you're like a rock star when you're just a janitor.
Well, it's just the humility of being able to try to honor God in everyone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I look at now.
All acts are an act of worship, whether esoteric or exoteric.
Right. So, this is how we're going to get all this stuff out, and it's been a real challenge the last few months for me, and I haven't succeeded as well as I'd like at it, but the idea of trying to be a spiritual person, scientifically grounded in the midst of all this pressure to turn us away from that.
You should eat some mushrooms.
Yeah.
This is the straight up best way. Some magic mushrooms.
I'm trying to find my way through this. It is my goal to get this all out there. It really is. And I'm trying to be careful about it so that, I'm not trying to be... I'm trying to be careful. Maybe I'm a little too cautious at the moment. But it's just because I've seen too many people burn, and I've seen them really suffer when they weren't cautious enough. That's where I'm coming from.
Fuck it, man. You only die once in this life, and when you're dead, you're resting. So it's like not a problem anymore. And if you died really bad, you can come back as a specter and haunt them.
That's fine if it were just me, but I'm held responsible for other people. And I must keep their needs in mind.
Well, those other people shouldn't get involved in stuff like this if they can't handle it. If you can't row the boat, stay on the shore.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but that's okay. You're doing well.
Oh no, trust me. The government thinks that they're all over me. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have to look out for all the other scientists and make sure that their message isn't compromised.
Don't worry. When they're dead, it's all fine too. Death is a release to the next stage. You can't be hurt by it.
Oh.
Unless you're a really, really fucking rotten person and you consciously choose to do evil, there's this pit thing. It's like a giant digestive tract full of teeth and like tentacle things with claw hooks, and it just rips people's souls to pieces, and then they're obliterated into nothingness.
All right, but
I looked down it once. It was crazy. It's like that pit in Star Wars that not Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett gets eaten by. Coincidentally, the guy choosing to consciously commit evil acts.
I have a stewardship responsibility to do my best to see to it that everyone's message of importance is out there that I am responsible for. That includes Eric and the others.
Okay.
Not to serve that.
Well, my logic train is something. This is probably why I'm not in charge of the information. But my logic train would be that to free the planet from the binds of the big oil, it could be worth sacrificing those 100 scientists. Because, I mean, scientists sacrifice us every day.
Are you saying that I should sacrifice their message getting out?
For the better good.
For what good?
To get the message out. Once you get the video up on the net, there are hundreds of people that will mirror that. And as soon as it starts getting mirrored, it's all over the net, and they cannot stop it.
You're saying I should sacrifice risk?
Take the risk. You don't have to, but you can take the risk. Nothing's guaranteed in this.
For Eric's one video?
Oh, no, I'm talking about there's 10 hours of video that they're looking for.
Okay, so I should sacrifice 400 hours for those 10?
In order to save the planet from big oil, yes. Because we're talking about the entire planet's life here.
Okay. And what makes you think?
You understand, in 20 years, there's going to be robots that become conscious, and when they do, they're going to see that we destroy the Earth and we are stopping it from progressing, and then they're going to annihilate us. And when they're conscious, they're going to take over the conscious journey for us. I already got a bunch of phone calls from an anonymous source about all this. I've seen a bunch of it come to happen. The Robotic Bill of Rights happened already in Britain. That happened about a year after I got the phone calls. And that sort of thing it's crazy, but it's going to happen if we do not turn this around. We do not have time to be scared.
Can you entertain the possibility? Maybe some of those other 400 hours are just as important as Eric's message?
400 hours of the work? Yeah, oh yeah. But that's why it's got to get out there.
Right. So I'm trying to get it all out there, and I have to act in a way to get it all out there. Not just Eric, although Eric is number one.
Go Google his name and check out his the what is it called? The community sourcing, the money thing, the thing where they raise money through the community. And there are a load of comments on there, and they're all supporting him.
Well, I support him too, and I've supported him before many of those people were out there, and I will continue to support him. And people may disagree in the way we're doing it, but we're going to bring this forward.
In the next couple days?
Pardon me?
In the next couple days.
I can't work that fast, but we're trying for a month or two, maybe a month to have some of it out there at least. Listen, if Tech Zombie had not interfered, we would have had one, possibly two videos out all April 20th.
And how did Tech Zombie interfere? He wanted copyright thing?
He wanted me to send him everything raw, and under threat of blackmail. And he was sending, and he wanted me to send it to, he said he was, send it to me, David Webster in Rochester, only Tech Zombie is not David Webster, and he doesn't live in Rochester. David Webster lives in Tennessee. So I was being asked to send uncopyrighted raw material. I was being ordered under blackmail threat.
What was he going to blackmail you with?
Well, he threatened. He said, "I will raise all my 6,000 Tesla fans against you. We will trash your meetings. We will crash your meetings. We will crash your cell phones, and we will put out a YouTube saying that you are the #1 Tesla hater in the world. Unless you send me all your raw footage." To me, David Webster in Rochester, only this wasn't David Webster. David Webster doesn't live in Rochester. So I'm supposed to send this to somebody who is anonymous, who I've never met, under a blackmail threat without Eric's permission. And that was not acceptable. Uncopyrighted, so he can copyright it. I control the video. I'm putting it out my way. I'm putting it out on the internet, but if people don't do what I say, I'll just call up Google with my copyright and have it taken down.
See, now you're doing the copyright thing. You gotta let go of this control freak thing, man. How do you get through life being so controlling? I got people trying to control me all the time. What is wrong with the controller people?
No, understand this. There would have been no lectures without me recording them and making them possible. My only concern is to put it out there and then make sure it stays up on the web forever.
Oh, it will.
That's my concern.
But then if you wanted to stay out on the web forever, why would you threaten to have it pulled down for copyright infringement?
I never would.
But you just said that.
You're not listening to me and you're not understanding me, apparently, or I'm not communicating well.
Okay, try again.
I'm saying that if I had sent him the material and he had copyrighted it, he might have tried to have it pulled down by anybody from the web for anybody else exercising copyright infringement.
Oh, that's why you upload it first, then send him the files.
If I upload it first,
then you have a timestamp to prove that you uploaded it and you shot the video because you own the original raw files, and they're all encoded with the little serial number on your camera.
Well,
even JPEGs print like that.
I'm still concerned. You know, you're one of 1,000 people, and this takes my time away. But there are other reasons going on here. Let me just try and complete this with you.
Okay.
There's still the concern that he could come back at a later date and say, you didn't have Eric's permission unless I have it in writing. And everything Eric Dollard is owned by me.
He owns Eric Dollard?
He could say that under fraud, and I'd have to fight him in court, and I don't want to go there.
You can't own somebody, man.
He's already lied to me. He's already misrepresented me to others. Why would he misrepresent? And he's actually, I'm being told now, that there is some misrepresentation that he's done against Eric's interests.
Like what?
So I'm not going to spell it out.
Oh, then I'm going to be curious and have to Google around for it.
Well, I can tell you this much. Charles Ostman has not worked for Lawrence Livermore Lab for over 20 years. And he is not my handler from Lawrence Livermore Lab. And he has not worked for the Institute for years. What he has done is trying to do things like take ex-Soviet scientists who are working on nuclear war devices and put them on working on alternative energy, clean tech, that kind of stuff. And he took time out of his life at my begging to go down to see Eric to try and validate his work and say that it has merit, which he has done to many, many people. He's endorsed Eric and supported him. And for this, all these terrible things are said. And he did it on his own time, volunteer with no pay. Now, they may have some scientific differences in some things.
Oh man, I do a lot of volunteer stuff like this myself for political stuff. I don't get any pay for it. I don't want any pay for it.
Well, neither do I, but you don't want to be trashed for it either, do you?
Oh, I get trashed for it all the time. I don't give a fuck.
No. And it's right for people to stand up in your defense and say that's wrong.
Nah, I don't care if they do or not. I'm a man. I can stand on my own 2 feet for that.
Thank you. Well, okay, but you wanted an example now.
Okay.
I hope you understand. Maybe you think I'm being a little cautious, but I don't think it's unreasonable for me to have something in writing, approved from Eric, approving for me to do what I want, what I'm trying to do, with his approval, with direct communication with him.
That's the part I have trouble with understanding, is why it's so hard to get that.
Well, he and I have been friends, and when people are telling me that they're not going to let me talk to him, that's wrong.
Well, I heard he doesn't like talking on the phone or something like that, so don't you have his email address or something?
We used to have plenty of conversations on the phone, and we're fine. So, you know, whatever you're hearing, there are many people, well, there are some people who are saying things in Eric's name, it is not Eric Dollar.
Where can I find Eric on the net then to ask him this stuff?
He doesn't use the internet. I've never known him to use the internet. If he's done it at all in recent years, it's been rare. He doesn't really like the internet that much, but he recognizes its value for helping to fund it.
Fair enough. Okay. You promise you're going to get in touch with him, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Write him, and I've been calling him the last few days after I finished a very grueling schedule.
Like Eric's number himself?
Pardon me?
Like Eric's number itself?
Well, let me explain this to you. David Webster promised me that I could call him in the last week and contact him, and I would finally be able to talk to him. And so when I called him, the people there refused to let me talk to him. So I spoke to somebody who obviously isn't part of the plan today, who's going to represent, who's going to talk to Eric, who's known Eric as longer than I have, unlike these other people. And we'll be able to move forward, and I'll be able to write him. So I think we're on the right track here.
Okay, good. I want to see this go through, and I want to see this technology bloom and unfold, because I'm tired of Tesla's dream being perverted and all the demonic people who are perverting it for their own selfish gains.
Understand that I am not planning on making any kind of selfish I've never made any money off of Eric, and I never will.
Well, that's good, because he did all the inventing and work.
Pardon me?
He did all the inventing and work. We're just promoters for the idea. We just get the ideas around. We're just the ants that carry the bits of sand.
Yeah, but, I mean, the ants are important, too.
No, they're not. They're completely dispensable. We're cannon fodder, man.
That people...
We're designed for one thing, coming here and dying.
I'm the person who coined the term inventor abuse.
Inventor of what?
Inventor abuse.
Of use.
A-B-U-S-E, abuse.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, cell phone trouble. Anyway, I mean, so I go out there, I talk about Tesla all the time. I want this stuff to come forth. It's what I live for, and I want to make sure it comes forth in a way that doesn't, Tesla, if things had been handled differently in Tesla's day, if he'd had a...
Oh, yeah, I'm well aware of that. I am very well aware of that. Get in touch with this Real Verbs guy. He can definitely, you'll see. He gives lectures on his own.
Wardenclyffe would have been built. It would have been completed.
Oh, it was blown up. It was already built.
Well, it wasn't completed, but,
Okay, yeah, it wasn't fully online. I'll give you that much.
Yeah, I mean, Eric has lost this facility 3 times. I don't want it to happen the 4th time.
Oh, that's why the crowdfunding's going on. They're getting them all brand new lab equipment and everything, and there's thousands and millions of eyes on them now. So if anything does happen, we all know, and then it just goes from there.
Well, I
don't even think like groups like Anonymous and stuff like that have even noticed this stuff yet. So I'm sure one day if they noticed, all hell could break loose.
I mean,
you don't even know what might happen. People just might break into your hard drive and steal it for all you know, man. That's why, like, you gotta just do this the right way. Because, like, the momentum's building. The momentum of the truth is building, and once it starts spurting up, the fountain cannot be, like, pushed back down into the ground.
That's totally awesome, isn't it?
It is. Because it makes everyone else's life a lot easier once that start happens.
Yeah, that's what's totally awesome, so let's keep it building, and I'm going to do...
Oh, yeah.
And I want you to understand, I want you guys all to know, I really appreciate the fact that you all care about this, because
immensely.
It was terrible when nobody did.
Well, I mean, I'm only 28, and I've lost 2 friends to cancer already because of the environmental conditions, and they were both the 2 healthiest cats I've ever known. So I want to see this stuff released because I'm sick of seeing people die at an early age.
Well, I'll just tell you that part of what we were at, I was in front of 5,000 people yesterday. We were at an exposition with a booth representing both the Tesla Society and another group. I'm on the board of directors for an organization called California Citizens for Health Freedom.
Okay.
Right now we have a bill that's been introduced into the state legislature in California that right now the current law is that California physicians are not allowed to use, legally, to use any other means other than chemoradiation and surgery to treat cancer.
Ugh.
And our bill will make it legal for alternative treatment of cancer in California.
You should check out Rick Simpson. Rick Simpson makes a hash oil that cures everything. And I'm not even kidding. It cures everything.
Hash oil. Well, I do know there is an ingredient in hash. It's not THC. It's another one that is supposed to be anti-cancer.
Oh yeah. He says you put a rice grain in your mouth once a week or something like that, and by like 3 months later, everyone's cured. Like, his page is constantly updating with success stories. They've used it for things other than cancer, and then you can take the leaf and juice it without turning it hot, which doesn't turn it psychoactive, and that can be used to augment your immune system. There's a movie called Leaf that actually discusses that.
Okay. There's about 20 approaches, Steve, that I think are all effective, and if you use several in combination, it's more effective.
Oh yeah, I think the marijuana, though, they banned it because it's the most important medical plant on the planet.
Well, there's another, I don't know if you
we have like a symbiotic relationship with it.
Of William Randolph Hearst, and they were using hemp to print paper with, and it was in competition with his paper mills. So that was another portion of it. I think it was a threat to Big Pharma as well in terms of pain medication. So
yeah, Rick Simpson's in Amsterdam right now because my government's trying to arrest him.
Yeah.
So
that's terrible.
It is. That's why we have Nazis in charge.
That after 10 years of lobbying by this other organization, we've got half the medical board in California in favor of this bill, in spite of the oncologist effect, and I think we'll get it through. So. Yeah, we got 80 letters written to our state senators yesterday and Saturday as a result of our work, personal stories of what had happened to them and their family because of their being victims of conventional cancer care. So that's part of the things that we do, and that's part of what we care about, and this is all related, and we're doing our best to get it all out there.
Well, I've seen
a priority.
I've seen your other work that you had listed there with a bunch of different like bills and stuff like that you're pushing through into the government, and I do find that impressive that you are doing that. So it gives me a feeling of trust that you are somebody that is trying to do something right, and you're not trying to screw the whole world, sort of thing.
Correct.
So I think that's pretty good.
I've been at it a long time, and I've lost a lot of sleep, and I'll keep on it as long as I can.
Okay. All right, well, I gotta go get some supper now.
Thanks for the great tips. I really appreciate it. You have a great day, okay?